cheers to episode 66.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, nice cup, Alex.
Thank you. Water.
Coors Light.
Ew.
Jealous. I'm drinking Body Armor Tropical Coconut.
Oh, tropical coconut. This Coors Light's been in our fridge for probably a year.
Oh.
Wyatt left him.
Ooh. Shout out Y Guy.
Yeah.
Tonight is Monday, April 4th, National Championship Monday. The game's at 9:20 because I don't know why. Welcome. Well, it's 7:02 right now. Welcome to the number one sports podcast in Michigan. That's right. We're still number one. They can't dethrone us. And our state's college basketball teams are in big trouble. They're on the hot seat.
What?
Why? Because Thad Matta is taking over college basketball for the next decade. So our two teams basically found out this weekend they will not be winning national championships to come because it's going to run through one man and one man only. And one man's nose, Thad Matta. Yes. Yeah. Butler Bulldogs are back.
No comment on that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I never get to talk about Butler, but they made a fantastic hire from everything I've read and in my own personal belief, so I'm excited for it.
It's a good hire for the Dogs. I am closer to the program than Grant is. Grant's not a Butler fan, so I have family that went to Butler. Grant really didn't go to Butler. He's a Michigan fan. Anyways.
Sometimes you just gotta let trolls get their trolls in.
Yeah.
Evan, do you think it's a home run hire?
I think it's top of the line hire. Great success. Great success.
Sex.
Yeah. He's a confirmed dad, so he probably does have great sex.
Wow.
Recruits well. I've been out of the game a little bit while, but I think he can return him back. Especially now with the transfer portal, I think he can impact that team greatly in a couple of years. It doesn't need to take like a big recruiting class. So it just matters if their program can hand over the money and the resources that he wants or needs.
Yeah. TBD on that. We had to wait till April 1st just to save like $500,000 to fire our coach. Oh, wow, that's a bad look. Anyways, now to what people came here for, the preview of the show of Michigan sports. We'll have our weekly check-ins, the college basketball kind of season wrap-up of not our teams, but the Final Four and a little championship scenario since we're recording before the game. A little PMT bit knockoff of, what happens if Kansas wins? What happens if UNC wins? Then we have the Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, season preview. They play on Friday. Opening day for them is Friday, from what I saw today, playing the White Sox. No better way to start the year than with the best team in your division. Then we have the Masters. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yes.
April is here. Jim Nance. Predictions and picks. Feels like just based on anecdotal memory that our golf picks are pretty solid. Like the guys we give out, even our long shots are usually in contention. They're fun to watch, so stay tuned for that. And then some really solid life questions, miscellaneous questions at the end. We also have really good listener questions that relate to each sports topic as well. So people brought the heat this week. We've saved up some life questions, but we also have some good sports ones, as I said, throughout. So stay tuned for those, and we'll be sure to call them out. And with all that being said, who would like to start? Alex would like to start with his weekly check-in. What did he do this week that the people need to know about?
Honestly, nothing. I did nothing. I didn't do anything during the week. Oh, I did one thing. I played 2-on-2 basketball with Grant for the first time in a long time. That is the highlight of my entire week. We lost both games. Since Grant thinks I'm selfish, I'll be selfish here. I was the leading scorer for our team. Not a big deal. But in actuality, I thought we played pretty decent, and I was exhausted, so I'm very out of shape. Basketball shape, at least. So that was fun. This weekend, I did nothing. I did actually nothing.
Real quick on the basketball thing, there was this debate going on in the NBA earlier in the year. Alex and I are what people call basketball players. Alex and I are not hoopers. We don't get buckets. We are fundamentally sound and run a really nasty pick and roll.
We did have a nice pick and roll.
We're not really breaking people off the dribble unless Alex is miraculously going behind the back in traffic and making a layup.
That was a
there.
nasty move.
It was.
Evan, I came off a screen from Grant. The kid hedged hard. I'm going right. I'm going right.
I'm in a hand. Asterisks already on this.
But kid hedged hard, tried to steal the ball from me out of my right hand. I took it behind my back to the left, crossed back to the right side of the hoop, and laid it in. It's one of the more impressive feats of my life. So I still have it. I didn't have it, but I had something.
And then it's just tough when you play a game to 11 ones and twos, and the team you play makes their first 3 threes. So 2-pointers in that case. Both games. So you start, they get 6 points basically right away, and you're down like 6-2 or 6-3 and clawing your way back.
Which we did. I got back into them.
I was gassed halfway through game 1. It was very humbling how much 2-on-2 basketball takes out of you, and you're just playing half court. And also playing defense on someone that's much faster than you. I felt like my ankles were going to break several times.
I think that was the first time I tried to play actual defense in several years. It is very exhausting. There was a point where there was a ball that hit the rim. We were on defense, and it was probably directly in the middle of Grant and I, and we both just looked at it and just did not even make an effort for the ball. And they got the rebound and hit a 3 after that. Wow, I'm tired.
One last thing I thought of, too, that is funny to picture is that on the very first defensive possession, they made the make it, take it, so they got the ball. Very first play of the game, I completely blanked, and so did Alex, that you have to communicate on ball screens. And we just did not say a word. We were mutes, and we didn't switch. They just went to the rack and made a wide open layup. And then from that point forward, we just switched every single ball screens to make it simple.
Grant got super lazy to the point he could easily go over screens, and he's like, switch.
Yeah,
switch.
fighting through screens is so miserable. So miserable. If you're around the same height as anyone, you just switch.
Yeah.
Alex, I would like to correct you, though. You did do something memorable you'll never forget this weekend that Evan
I watched Borat.
He watched Borat for the first time this weekend.
I did.
Great
success.
Great success.
Very nice.
I assume, Evan, you've seen it. I assume it's like a well-known movie.
I haven't seen it in a while, though, but yes, I have seen it at least once.
It's way more off the rails.
Can you confirm to me? Grant told me that they were like doing this to real people in real life.
Yeah.
Like it's not fake.
It's almost like unscripted. It's just that you have a script for like the movie scenes, and then they just go out like in person and get like kind of like the live reaction of how people would act. It's like those aren't like paid actors.
It is egregious and hilarious. The poop at the dinner table is so absurd. Oh my god! I could not believe it. Yeah,
I mean, Alex was crying several times
really
throughout the movie.
Funny. It's really funny.
He also had to fast forward at one point. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what that point might have been. It just grossed him out too much.
It was nasty.
Come on, Alex, man up.
450 pounds and then just balls. Oh my god! I didn't even see it. Yeah,
I traveled to California for Pamela, the love of my life. In Kazakhstan. God, it's such a good movie.
It is funny.
I haven't really ever followed up on the other ones, but I'm sure I'd like them.
Have you seen the other ones?
I haven't seen the other ones. I think I just seen the original one.
So yeah, that was my weekend. What'd you do, Evan?
Let's see. During the week, when was the last time we talked?
Monday.
Was the last Monday we recorded?
Yeah.
Full week.
I kind of had a boring week. Nothing too exciting. And then Saturday, went out to the bars in East Lansing.
Oh, I saw it rained.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was kind of like sprinkling. I mean, it's still raining right now. It's raining all day. But watched the first game. lost bets on that. Watched the first half of the second game here, pre-gamed here, and then we went out to the bars. Went to Harper's. It was a loser convention at Harper's. I swear, there were so many losers in there. You just look at somebody and you're like, yeah, this guy's a loser. It's just like factory galore, and I just like, ugh, gosh, go somewhere else. They charged $10 a cover. I thought Harper's was better than that.
What a come down from going to Nashville the weekend before.
I know. I literally thought about that when I was sitting in the bar, and I was like,
well, this
time last week I was in Nashville at a bar, so now I'm at Harper's in East Lansing.
At the loser convention.
It was the loser convention. It was crowded, so it was busy, and we kind of we didn't get there late, but got there around 10:15. So where we were standing, everybody would just like pass us like to get somewhere else, and so it was just get bumped into left and right. Harper's doesn't care about what age you are when you get in there. For the podcast, Luke, I thought he was going to punch somebody square in the face. He got basically almost ran over. The dude bodied him for no reason. Luke budged and then looked at the kid, and the kid was kind of dancing, trying to joke it off. And the kid didn't understand that Luke could have beat his ass. Him. It was funny. We had a stalker just stalked somebody in our group.
Girl or guy stalker?
It was a guy stalker.
Oh.
He was stalking somebody in our group, basically.
Stalking a guy or stalking a girl?
Stalking a girl.
Okay. Like the show You.
Yeah. I mean, he started talking to somebody in the group and then bought shots, and they came back, and I thought he was going to leave for good, but he didn't. He just hovered around and dude, buddy, know your place. You're going to strike out. It's not going to happen. So leave us alone. But he didn't get that memo. And then we went to an apartment. It was all right. Saturday was fun. But Harper's is It was definitely the loser convention.
So you left Harper's early and went to an apartment party.
Yes. Well, it was just everyone that we went there with, we just went to an apartment and drank.
Who were you with?
Hung out more.
Off the record.
It was over by Insomnia Cookies, and it was identical to Treehouse apartment. You walk in.
Shout out Treehouse.
Kitchen on your left, cupboards above the little island nook, living room right there, and then you have a hallway where the bedroom and bathrooms were.
Throwback.
Identical there, yeah. I was walked in, I was I think we're in Treehouse. But it was good, and then we stayed out to 2:30. Walk back was basically a snow mix.
Wow.
Yeah. I woke up at 9:30 thinking I was going to get up and be productive. Had homework to do. Fell back asleep. Woke up at noon, basically, 11:45. Yeah, I felt just an absolute piece of but went to Flapjacks. Got in, didn't have to wait that long.
Well, you did get there at noon.
Yes, I know. But we said to wait. It was busy, but didn't have to wait that long. Didn't have to wait an hour. I think we waited 5 minutes. I got the biggest breakfast of all time. So I was finishing
Did you get what Grant got last time?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, you talk about it all the time.
I know,
still
it
didn't
definitely
get it.
looked good.
What did I get last time?
Corned beef hash or something?
Sounds like me.
I got the hearty breakfast, 3 eggs, hash browns, bacon, sausage, and then usually pick pancakes or toast. I just got both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is aggressive.
Okay, so I finished, I ate my food in order, and I was saving the pancakes for last.
Wow.
And everybody else was kind of done. And so the waitress came by and was picking up all the empty plates. I still had a couple bites left of my pancake on my plate. And I handed her my empty plate, and she took my pancake plate. I didn't even get to finish. No, I didn't. She was super nice. I just turned to Cheese next to me, and I said, she took my pancakes. And he's like, what?
Cheese.
She took my pancakes. Other than that was kind of the highlight of... Watched Moon Knight, started that series.
I did too. Grant hates
first
Marvel.
episodes.
Hell yeah.
First episode was good, so looking forward to the second episode. Other than that, I don't really do much.
My Moon Knight pajamas are in the mail.
Can't wait.
Shut up, man.
It's gonna be so sweet. I went to the doctor's office for the first time in about 4 years.
Wowie, wow, wow.
It was a wow woo wee wow experience. I was like, well, what do I do here? And it was first time going to a doctor outside of either our hometown in Tecumseh or college.
Don't tell people
so I had to Oh, Tecumseh, Michigan. Just walk down the street. You'll probably see us. There's only like 800 people. Well, no, there's a couple thousand people that live there. Anyways, Alex got me off topic. Back on track. Go to the doctor's office because I thought I just needed a general physical, but not to bore people. I have terrible circulation. Terrible.
Blue hands, blue feet.
No, Alex. Now people are going to think I actually have like some autoimmune problem. No. My hands.
You already looked it up on Google.
I was not being sarcastic. Grant's hands and feet are blue sometimes.
My hands are
more often than a normal
typically
person.
Always cold. My feet are always cold. My feet do look a little purple sometimes, but Alex is also color deficient, so he would
Watch
not
your
be the
mouth.
one to ask. Facts are facts. So
I made it up.
And then in the last like 2 weeks, I had gotten a string of bloody noses, a lot, like 3 times a week. And Evan, you can attest to that in Nashville. You can attest to that in Nashville, Alex or Evan. He woke up and I had a toilet paper up my nose to stop the bleeding from it. And so I was like, those 2 things, like I want to go see a doctor, see what's up here. Long story short is that I ended up getting a prescription to potentially help with my circulation.
Drugs.
And upon taking the pills, they really work. Who knew? Like I felt my experiences. I took it. My face got really warm, and I could feel like blood rushing to my cheeks. And then my hands were like warm the whole day. I was like, holy cow, this is like what people experience when they sit inside, because I'll be sitting there working before then and my hands would just be freezing. I was like, this sucks. So now I'm kind of, it's like through 1 week, it's kind of wearing off a little bit, where it's not that I'm kind of becoming used to it. So it's not crazy like warm sensation, but it was nice to know that there's something out there that can help my terrible circulation. So I'm interested to
continue.
I'm interested to see what the follow-up is with the doctor and where we go from here. Because I don't really want to have to take this my whole life, but I'm interested to see what possible solutions are. So that was interesting. And then no free ads on Friday night. Marissa and I went to a Chinese place called Zhao Jun, an Asian restaurant in Bloomfield Hills, and it was probably a top 15 meal I've ever had in my life.
Top 15 meal.
Great. Did you say Chinese restaurant and then you said Asian restaurant? What kind of restaurant is this?
Asian style and
like Asian fusion. Yeah, let's go with Asian fusion.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know if that's necessarily right though. It just basically has
what's it called?
Sushi. Zhao Jun, Zaojun. We are really advertising this place. It had a mix of sushi. It had all your hot meals where it's like you could get, like broccoli and beef, or you can also get Thai food with pad Thai. So it had like a wide range, not just like
Asian fusion.
Yeah. So, but the main hitter was, and this is a life lesson, folks, to always change things up. Don't always go with what you know. Appetizers were like, what should we get? We're going to get an order of crab rangoons and another thing. I was like, let's just get like pork pot stickers. Something I've had before, I know is good. I go, wait, let's get this thing. It's called chicken bao, chicken BAO. You get like 2 pieces of it. They had like pictures on the menu. It looked like kind of like a little chicken sandwich appetizer. And you're like, this could be kind of weird at an Asian fusion restaurant. You're getting fried chicken. But it came out in like, what bao is like this sticky bun. It's like maybe a Hawaiian roll, but a little bit like thicker or puffier. It's fantastic. And they put fried chicken in it and like sliced cucumbers that were basically pickles, and then some aioli. So you got like your mayo and some, spices in the aioli. It was phenomenal. I don't know what the recipe they used for the chicken was, but it was fried chicken that went toe to toe with Chick-fil-A in this little pocket, and they gave you a little sweet and sour dipping sauce with it. Oh, it was just an appetizer. I only had 1 piece of it, but I'll always remember it. And if I see chicken bao on any menu going forward, just know I will be ordering it, and I will be holding it to the standard of Zhao Jun. It was mind blowing. So if you're ever in the area, they probably have different locations.
I can say
chicken bao.
when Grant and Marissa got back from their dinner date, I was just minding my own business, and they were in my ass about how good this restaurant was. I mean, they're like, oh, dude, you have no idea. It was the greatest meal we've ever had. It's like,
Top
guys,
15 is what I said.
Did you bring me any to try? Well, no, but it was amazing. I was like, all right, well.
You got ice cream, though.
They did bring ice cream that I paid for. But Evan, I think you would have liked it. Some Trader Joe's ice cream.
Oh.
And that was my weekend.
Oh, kind of a boring weekend.
Yeah, it wasn't
some boring weekends.
We needed that, though. We talked about that after Nashville. We needed to decompress for a weekend.
I'm detoxing.
I drank my face off Saturday. I didn't even detox.
I did.
Yeah.
I did it.
I would consider a detox. I had 2 beers. That's a detox.
I had a beer and a mixed drink, and I'm having a beer now. But it's a new week.
We'll see if I detox again this weekend.
I'm leaning towards now. I'm not going to detox this weekend. I'm going to Grand Valley, so I'm just going to drink some more.
Oh, you know what they say about Valley girls?
What do they say?
They like male Spartans.
Oh, yeah, they do. Do you see, what was his Young Gravy, Little Gravy? What was his name? Something Gravy was at Grand Valley.
Young Gravy.
Yeah, do you see what he said Grand Valley is?
No.
He was wearing a hockey jersey and it said GV across it, and he's like, I'm giving you like a new university name. It's like Good Vagina.
Oh, man.
That dude's he's a big, he likes moms. He loves MILFs.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him, so I wouldn't go watch him.
He's a really bad rapper. That song stinks.
Oh, Alex. I'm not saying he's
Alex.
I'm not saying he's a good rapper, but he's kind of like a gimmick. Like he kind of likes to make jokes in his songs.
He's
and he has
off-brand Lil Dicky.
Oh.
He's
I don't like Lil Dicky.
I like Young Gravy better than Lil Dicky. That's where this show's gotten to.
Neither are something to write home about.
You love Lil Dicky. You dressed up as him.
I did do that for Halloween.
Because you know what? Because that's kind of like a symbolism for you, Lil Dicky.
Curly hair and Jewish?
No.
Lil Dicky.
Like, think more physical.
Good one, guys. Good one.
But I guess the next segment of college basketball kind of ties into the weekend because I did take up a decent amount of Saturday. I want to open this up with a question. How will you guys remember Coach K?
Rat face, fill in the blank. Just
feminine.
I mean, he's like an
feminine.
He's got like dainty hands.
All-time great coach. Bails on his teams. Kind of a quitter. Is a front runner. Another front runner. Add him to the list.
He's won 5 titles, Evan.
I understand that, Alex, but go look up his track record when his teams kind of stunk. He said like a whole year when his team was bad and made like the outer coach take all the losses.
I agree. That was absurd. Grant mentions that to me every day.
The COVID year, he kind of came out and said, yeah, I think the players need to play. And then as soon as Foster Lawyer and Thomas Kithier whooped his ass, he kind of was like, you know what, to be honest, I don't think the players should be playing technically.
You know what? If Foster Lawyer and Thomas Kithier beat my team, I think I'd say the same thing.
But, you know, he's historic, but he can't really get it done with his best teams. He kind of was like the under-the-radar teams. Not really good in conference play, but tournament, speaks for himself. I mean, I don't like the media around him, so I'm glad he's finally.
You hate him.
I'm sure.
Just say you hate him.
I don't hate him because I have nothing against him. I've never talked to the guy, but I'm just glad the media coverage.
Based on what you said during the round of 32, Evan, I think you hate him.
That was motivationally charged from a Michigan State standpoint.
Yeah, he was just trying to get an edge on Coach K.
Did I say a couple things in the bar in the second half with Colby? Yes, absolutely. But I think the entire Harper's was cheering for North Carolina. It was electric.
Oh, that would be sweet.
That would be cool. I watched it with Grant.
Was just also sweet because at every media timeout, I kept saying, "Alex, we just have to realize how great of a game this is right now. We just need to soak this in."
Tweeted it off our account 30 times how great the game was.
It was so fantastic. I know. To me, like, because the way I was thinking about this is, I see both sides. First of all, thankful I did not wake up a Duke fan on Sunday because this next stretch just seems so miserable for them to have to deal with all this. And I guess the one part of my brain understands in his last season with all this pressure, it's very tough to make Final Fours. So they made one, which you're like, okay, good accomplishment. Let alone win a Final Four game, very hard to do. But it just feels, from the outside, embarrassing that he's going to go out in his career with 2 losses against their biggest rival, one of the biggest rivalries in sports, in the biggest games. And people can say it's unfair or not, but I will tell you this. In my brain, when someone mentions Coach K for, the next 5 years, this will be like 100% what I think about first. Like, I'll be like, yeah, remember when he lost to UNC, though? Like, in his last year? Like, yes, you can say he has 5 titles, but at least in the near future, I'm only thinking about this because it was just such a big moment. And yes, it's hard to win that game, but as we'll see in the NBA draft, Duke's going to have like a ton of first rounders, and you're going to look back and be like, wow, they couldn't beat North Carolina. That's tough. It was just stunning. And I kept thinking about the parallels like we had talked about if it was a Michigan versus Ohio State or a Michigan State in a big game like this, and how nerve-wracking that whole, and you could feel it in the arena. Like, it was very, just even through a TV, you could tell it was very tense. A lot of people sitting because they were just like waiting for something to happen. And then those last like 4 minutes with the lead changes and the missed free throws. Oh, that is just, like I said, being a Duke fan on Sunday had to suck.
Yeah.
Just glad it's not one of our teams. And then, do you guys want Coach Izzo to do a retirement tour when he gets to this point of his career?
No.
Coach
K's the only one that's had a retirement tour.
Just wanted to make sure. I don't know. I just want to see.
I mean, in fairness, it would be it would kind of suck just a little bit that like you don't know it's going to be his last game, and then he turns around at the end of the season and says, "Oh, I'm retiring." And be like, wow, that's it. That's the end of the coach.
Yeah, and that's a great point. That happened this weekend. We're to the point in his career where April Fool's Day is a red alert for a lot of people. There was Alex's own mom thought he retired. I mean, people left and right are thinking
don't throw my mom under the bus on the podcast. Come on.
I don't blame her. I could have fallen for it too. You were supposed to
see that.
I mean, people were falling for it left and right.
She did figure it out before I had to tell her. So
I don't think Izzo will ever do like a farewell tour.
He doesn't want that.
No. I don't think he wants to pressure like the media, especially the media that he's seen from Coach K. I mean, he made a joke on senior night about Coach K. Our senior night, he made a joke about Duke senior night. So I don't think he would do one. But it would kind of stink, be like not knowing officially that it's his last game, and then turn around and be like, yeah, that was his last game.
It wouldn't stink if his last game was a national championship win. That'd be cool.
Obviously no, because
thanks, Alex.
That's how he's going out. So he's coaching until he wins another one.
It'd be pretty sweet if I won the lottery next week, too.
Yeah. It'd be sweet if I woke up and I was 6'5" and good looking too, Alex?
Hey, you never know.
Would you guys expect, because a big thing I read that teams did in the ACC was they would give Coach K a gift in his final away game there, but North Carolina did not, and Duke thought that was disrespectful. Would you guys expect Juwan Howard in Michigan to give Tom Izzo a nicely wrapped gift the last time he comes to Chrysler?
No.
Juwan outside of without anybody knowing, I could see that happening.
If Beeline was still there, I could see it. If Beeline was still there, I could see Beeline giving him a gift. But like Michigan Athletics, Izzo's come out and says he doesn't like anything about Michigan, but he respects them. I don't. No gifts.
Juwan and Tom have a nice, respectful relationship where I could see Juwan giving him like a $20 Tim Hortons gift card.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that there was people on Duke's staff or the organization that thought it was disrespectful at North Carolina.
If you're upset about that, you're a loser.
Coach K gift, and then Duke didn't shake hands with them the last 2 times they played, and it's like, all right, what are we talking about here?
Senior night, they should have shook hands. Yesterday, like the Final Four thing was a little over analyzed, overhyped.
North Carolina was like running on the floor, and
the players were celebrating on the court. So if you're like the opposing player, like if you're if they're not in line, like, do I really need to shake the other coach's hands? No. Like, I don't blame them. I think that was over-analyzed, over-picked. Yeah, it's something to laugh about, something to joke about, but I don't think it's a big deal.
But it does make you look even better if you do. Like Wendell Moore, I think, was the only player for Duke to stick around and actually shake hands in the line behind Coach K. And I'll always remember, like, Wendell Moore, classy guy for actually staying there.
You want him on your NBA team then if he was one of the only guys to stick around and do that.
Maybe not on my NBA team, but maybe like he can. I don't know. He can be a leader in the community.
You know what? Actually, he is single-handedly the reason I lost my bet in that game. Yep.
But classy guy.
So I can't hate him. He's just a kid.
They're all just kids.
True. The championship game. Well, they're becoming like older now though with this new rule. Anyways, new championship game tonight. We did this a couple weeks ago for. Oh yes, Evan had to say the storyline if I think it was for Stafford if Stafford won a game, but we're doing it for UNC and Kansas. So UNC wins narrative.
The hot streak continues, and they just continue to light up the floor and make big-time shots all game long with 5 guys. They play 5 guys. It's crazy.
I would say the narrative is Blue Bloods run college basketball no matter what seed they are.
Like that. That's deep. UNC wins. I knew it all along when they smacked around an elite Michigan team 72-51 on December 1st. This team is full of NBA players that just didn't hit in their early years, and now they're like sophomores and juniors, and they bring in Manic. I knew they had him. They're a good team. I couldn't, for the longest time this year, I was like, why are they on the bubble? Like, they have a great record. They just haven't played anyone. Confusing. They got blown out so many times earlier in the year, but they really hit their stride. And would be talk about setting the bar way too high. Hubert Davis, be careful.
Kevin Ollie.
The
same exact thing. Both
championship
8 seeds.
Your first year. A little scary. Kansas wins narrative.
Ochai Abachi. Best player in college basketball.
Okay.
COVID saved Bill Self. NIL deal saved Bill Self from the biggest NCAA scandal of all time that nobody's going to talk about
Dollar
again.
bill, y'all. Come on.
That's what I tied in, Evan. I said it's very clutch of Bill Self to win a title now, tonight, since Kansas will probably be banned from postseason play next season. So that would be huge of him to get it in now, and it probably would be the first time ever that a champion can't play in the postseason tournament next year.
They'll get a slap on the wrist. I don't think anything will happen to him.
Another narrative, Alex is the smartest basketball analyst in the country because he won the bracket pool because Kansas won. Shout out me.
Oh, if Kansas won.
Yeah, that is on the line tonight. That's a good point. Either someone we don't know named Wolfpack something.
I know who that is.
Who
is it?
Okay.
Off the record.
So
Kansas wins.
And
The Gillen family goes 1-2 in the bracket pool. Garrett finishes second with a Kansas win. Can't say because it's his real life burner.
Look it up. He's probably like.
Sorry, Dad. Name's out of the bag.
Burner accounts. Go find him on Twitter. There's burners everywhere.
And then now to end out college basketball, a listener question, a late breaking listener question. They wrote, besides the coaches at U of M and MSU right now, so Juwan Howard and Tom Izzo, what current college coach would you choose to run your school's program?
Jay Wright.
I can pick anyone.
Yeah.
I can only pick one, or can I give off a list?
You can do lists because I have a list. I have like locks and I have like maybes.
Oh, okay.
Jay Wright for me.
Yeah, Jay Wright's a lock for me. Tony Bennett's
Jay Wright's
a lock for me.
Tony Bennett was my number 2.
Drew Valentine is now a lock for me.
Whoa. Early lock.
So wait, is this? And this was confusing. I kind of looked at it as like, all right, let's say you had to like take someone right now, or like I didn't know if it was like you're forced to, or would you like willingly take this guy over your current coach? Is there anyone you'd willingly take over Tom Izzo right now?
No.
Because I mean, for Howard, I do have a list. Like I like Juwan Howard a lot, but I would take Tony Bennett, Jay Wright, and Bill Self. Now character is tough there with Bill Self, but I would take those 3 coaches over Juwan Howard right now to like run Michigan for the next 10 years of my life.
I think I would take Jay Wright right now because over Tom, just because there'd be more longevity. He'd be here longer. Tom could be done after next season. I think Jay Wright's got 10 years left. At least.
I wouldn't take anybody over Tom Izzo right now.
I'd feel
And
dirty
also-
doing it.
We forgot one name. I also had Thad Matta in my first list of coaches. I mean, that guy's just an absolute wagon. So I actually like him to split coach Michigan and Butler so they could just meet in the national championship game every year. Now, here's one that was
John
Mark
Beilein.
Few.
Yeah.
Mark Few.
No,
Mark
he's
Few?
overrated. He's a front runner of the West Coast
Only
Conference.
59.
He built a dynasty. Well, not a dynasty. He built a powerhouse in a small conference.
I would say dynasty. They've made the tournament like 21 years in
You
a
got to
row.
win championships to be a dynasty.
Fine.
Yes, he did.
Jay Wright. That's
I'm
my
not picking
list.
Mark Few. No, I think he's.
I put Mark
overrated.
Few on the tier of Tony Bennett, Jay Wright, and Bill Self, but I can see arguing why
No,
not. 'Cause
Mark
it'd
Few
be
got a
big step.
DUI.
Character issue.
I mean, Bill Self has 5.
I
level-
never said Bill Self.
Bill
Great,
Self
you
has-
did.
5 level 1 sanctions against his team. Now here's my B tier, where like if Juwan got fired for smacking a coach and we had to go hire someone, I would say would be home runs that aren't obvious in the top A would be Mick Cronin, Nate Oates, Eric Musselman, and Scott Drew. I put there because he won a title and he revived Baylor. Eric Musselman, I'm very bullish on. Back-to-back Elite Eights. He's very young. He has a amazing class coming in. Musselman would push the A tier where like I would just take him like right now.
I think he's pretty good. Yeah.
Solid coach. Those are all solid names for your B tier.
Chris
But
Holtman.
the question,
C tier.
yeah, maybe, yeah. But the question is a good one because it illustrates that, as we know, in this state, we have it pretty good right now. Where we're like, it's not like you're like, oh, I will take, I don't know. We're not throwing out Chris Beards. We're not throwing out like, oh, I want Shaka Smart to come take over my program. Like, we don't. Those are like gross. Well, there's some programs where like, oh, I would love to have that coach take over. But all right, college basketball. You won't hear us talk about it for a while unless something crazy happens. If Alex's message boards get fired up,
I got
and,
some
like, breaking
message
news-
board dirty stuff for everyone, but
yeah, we don't want
Maybe
that
next
till it
week.
comes true though. Now the Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, baseball, like we said, they play on Friday. Pretty excited for it. My first question for you guys: how many games? You can think about this not like a whole game, but like by innings. So a game is 9 innings. How many games counted by innings do you guys think you'll actually watch of Tigers baseball this year? There is 1,458 innings in a season, give or take extra innings.
number one problem here is Bally Sports. That's an issue. It's like it's like not on any. There's like a small list of actual cable providers that have Bally Sports. That's
Well,
an
you're
issue.
just saying like we just don't have cable on our main TV. That's just a millennial thing, or not? No, a Gen Z thing.
No, Grant. Actual cable companies, some don't have Bally Sports. Several don't.
DirecTV does.
Oh, sorry. Grant, not all of us have
Sorry.
DirecTV.
Dish
Evans
does not.
Evans doesn't. The East Lansing
Evan, what does your mom do to
Cable
watch games?
doesn't have
Then?
it.
She loves
She
the Tigers.
doesn't. She doesn't.
What?
She hasn't been able to watch the Tigers last like 2-3 years.
Oh my gosh,
See, Grant, this is a serious issue.
people aren't talking about this enough. I just realized.
Now, luckily, Grant has DirecTV, and he's going to give his login to me and Evan. So
I'll share
because
it.
of that, I'm going to watch 41% of the innings this season.
Wow. So
It's
that
going to be
is
a big jump from last year was probably like 11%.
I did not watch many innings last year. I'll tell you that.
I didn't watch very many.
What's 1458 times 0.41? That's almost 600 innings of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I had
I
400.
make that happen.
I had 450 innings because I believe that was 50 games.
I'm not going to watch full games. I'm going to watch like 6th through 9th innings. And then
Evan,
Casey
what
Mize
about you?
starts.
Casey My Stars, I definitely would try to go out of my way to watch those. I probably will watch more Tigers games. It's something to have on in the background in the summer days when it's kind of boring out. But if I do watch a Tigers game, I kind of watch all of it. And if I do get a chance to be able to stream it, I'll probably watch more. I probably would say, there's some West Coast games you're never going to stay up to watch.
True.
I'm
yeah,
probably
true.
I'm probably with Alex. I'm around the 40, maybe up to 50 if I'm getting frisky enough.
A Friday night at Mucks, I'm certainly going to tune in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be on in the background a lot, I feel like, this year.
Golf
And
league, might be on the TV. There's plenty of times where I might just catch a couple innings on accident.
And it's also, we rely on the audience. Like, I'll definitely be consuming it through Twitter and seeing highlights and looking at the score app telling me when scoring plays happen. So I'm going to be like tuned into it the whole season. I might do a classic where I do that for like Red Wings and Pistons, where I'll just go on YouTube and watch like the 9-minute recap of the game just so I can see the plays that happen. You can watch it. So we're not going to have like 100% feel for it, but that's not really why you come to this show anyways. You come for, talking about sports, sometimes seriously, sometimes more lighthearted. But I wrote this. I said, I am most excited. This is the most excited I have been for a Detroit Tigers baseball season since 2017, which was the last year where we held on two pieces before we blew it up.
Yeah.
We had JD on the opening roster. We still had some guys.
We
and
start
traded
like
them
18-4. We were super good at the beginning of the season. We swept the Red Sox.
It might have been 2016 now.
Maybe. I remember one year we had a very hot start. One of the last years of the everyone together.
Let me check. 2017.
Oh, God, we stunk.
We were no, that was not that year.
We went
12 and
64 98, Alex. So I don't know if we
12 and
a hot start.
12 and 12 through.
Oh wow, we were horrendous in 2017.
Yeah, that's why they blew it up at the deadline. But our opening day roster, you're like, okay, there's some guys here. Like Castellanos was still on the team, JD was still on the team. Oh, fun! Since you just said 64-98, Evan, stat of the day I found doing research for this. Are you guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are. So I want you to really take a deep breath here and get ready for this because I don't hear people talk about this ever. The 2017 Detroit Tigers under Brad Ausmus went 64-98. Fired Brad Ausmus. The 2018 Tigers under Ron Gardenhire also went 64-98. I just found that crazy. That what are the odds back-to-back years, different managers, you go the same exact record over 162 games. Oh.
Yeah, I mean that didn't I didn't fall out of my chair. No, sorry.
Evan, did you hear the stat or did you lag?
I did not hear the stat.
Damn it. All right.
I'll sit here talking to myself for a while.
This is a good test. See if Evan reacts differently. So the stat I found, Evan, the 2017 Tigers team under Brad Ausmus went 64-98. Fired him. Hired Ron Gardenhire for 2018. Their record also 64-98. Pretty crazy.
It is.
What are the
crazy.
odds?
Especially with the talent on that team in 2018. We traded everybody at the deadline.
Back-to-back years, 162 games. The odds, same exact record, different managers. Pretty crazy.
It just shows how bad Ausmus was as a manager. So bad hire.
Yeah. Bad hire. Swung and a miss. My next question for you guys. Who's your Tiger this year?
Mine's
One of the best one of the best ad campaigns the city's ever
We
done.
have to choose different ones.
Yes.
No.
Well, I would.
Yes.
I would have picked Casey Mize.
I'll
pick someone.
Do you just want to? Do you just want to be Evan?
I'll take Torque Bomb.
Jeez, Louise, come on! It's an
I
obvious
wanted
choice.
to take Riley Green, but he's not going to be there yet.
Not until middle of June is my projection.
I'll take a guy starts with a T as well, or has a T in his name.
Tucker Barnhart.
Tucker Barnhart, grit glue guy catcher. I'm
It's a good
biased
pick
because I
for
was
you,
a
Grant.
catcher. This guy, I'm all in on this guy. I was reading articles about him. He's going to make this young, bright pitching staff even better. He's not going to wow you at the plate. That's Eric Haas's job. Tucker Barnhart is going to frame pitches, which no one really cares about unless you're nerdy about it. You just watch, though. I just want the audience to watch how soft his receiving will be, how he's going to steal strikes for these pitchers, how he's going to call better games. He's going to communicate with them, relax them on mound visits. Tucker Barnhart is fantastic, and we got him at a value because the Reds are blowing it up, and they're like, yeah, we'll just give you him because, I don't know, we can't keep paying him. So this guy's won 2 golden gloves. He's really good. We have not had good catchers in our town in a long time. I love Pudge. I bought the Pudge model of the Wilson A2000 in high school. I love Detroit catchers when they're good. Tucker Barnhart is going to be good.
So you loved James McCann? Because that guy was a stud.
I like James
High
McCann. He was an
strikeout dinger.
He was an offensive bat. I love a good, just gritty defensive catcher that can just get you some clutch base hits every now and then.
Vance Wilson.
And then, not your Tiger, who is your breakout player pick? Not saying they have to be the next Akil Baddoo, but who is a low-key name that you think will be a good impact for this team?
I mean, he played last year and he pitched last year, but I think a turning point in the starting rotation, I think I'm going to pick Tarek Skubal. He's had a very successful spring training. He's added a very well-developed curveball, and then he's gotten his velocity up a little bit higher. I'm going to pick him to kind of turn over and solidify the rotation, and something that can either like make or break series and get us like over the hump a little bit. You know, he had some solid rookie pitching. ERA was still a little bit too high, but let's see if they can take the next step. And like you have a professional catcher back there, you know, a defensive guy that's going to call a better game. So I think it's only going to help him. And somebody that's not really it's not the big name. It's not Rodriguez or Mize, but somebody that might go under the radar and that can actually impact the Tigers more than people think.
Is there any, that just tangent there made me think, is there any beef between you and Eduardo for taking opening day starter role from Casey?
No, I think it alleviates the pressure a little bit from Mize not having to be the ace. You know, he only has like a year and a half underneath his belt. Yeah, he is one of the faces of the franchise, but you're also not paying Rodriguez whatever it is, $70, $80 million to be a number 2. I think it only help Mize. You know, you lose Boyd, but you know another lefty in the rotation, I think helps. And Mize throws different stuff. You know, has a split finger, so. I think it can't hurt.
And Chris Fetter will help with the pitching staff as well. He's a great pitching coach. So him, Barnhart, and all of them is going to be awesome to watch. Alex, breakout player pick of the year.
He kind of broke out a little bit at the end of last year. Candelario, I think, will have a very, very solid season this year.
Like, you think he's going to make a leap?
Yeah, I think he'll be like a very reliable 4-hole hitter.
I think didn't he lead the MLB in doubles last year? Is that where he led the league?
He broke out a little bit at the end last year. I don't know exactly what he led in.
He led the team in batting last year.
He's really good.
He started really bad, and then he was pretty good the second half of the season. And I think he's just going to make another jump. And he's going to be a routine, everyday third baseman.
All-star?
I think he'll be pushing all-star consideration.
Somebody on our team has to make the all-star team, so.
Hell yeah.
Hobby bias.
All right. Mine's going to be a deep cut and more of just like, well, there's two guys, but they're way deep. They're not sexy. If one of these guys hits a little bit better for them, could be, all right, we got something cooking here. The 2 names are Victor Reyes, who will now be thrust into a starting role until Riley Green gets here. He was pretty poopy at the start of last year and then finished the season very well to finish with a 258 average, a little bit over 7 for OPS, which is not fantastic, but you just need him to like not be Riley Green. You need him to give you half of that so we don't start off terribly this year without Riley Green. And then the other guy who could be that good, he comes in when the main guys get arrested, is Harold Castro. They call him, hitting Harold Castro. He's more of a hitter than, a great fielder. Do not get it twisted with Willie Castro. That guy is buns. And I would prefer him to not play a lot this year. He just makes errors galore and hits like 220. Not Willie Castro. When you see Castro, make sure you know I'm talking about Harold Castro. He is a better hitter. He hit 283 last year in only 106 games. That's not terrible. You get close to that 300 number as a guy who doesn't play every day. It's pretty solid stuff. Would like him to be solid for this team, and I think he could have a nice year. But those are would be deeper cuts that could surprise some people. We have to get into it. On a scale of 1 to 10, the Riley Green news was about a 9 for me. I was visibly upset when it happened, and I know it's not the end of the world. Like, he's not going to miss the whole year. What I've read is it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. Broke a bone in his foot and was in the lower foot, which I've been told is better than the upper foot. So shout out to doctors for that. I said he can borrow my foot if he needs to. I want this guy to play really bad. He's a consensus top 5 prospect in the Major League Baseball, and you just want to see it all together right away now that we know Torkelson's on the opening day roster. Like, you just want them both to play. I can picture him being announced on opening day, starting center fielder, starting first baseman, and now we have to wait. It sucks. But am I overreacting to it? What do you guys think? Do you think it sucks as much as I'm saying, or like, Grant, just wait 6 to 8 weeks and you'll get him?
It's disappointing, but you don't need to throw your life away for it. I mean, he's a young kid, and he's going to be here in 2 months, probably, according to Evan's timeline. So it's not that big of a deal. You can wait it out.
My timeline was longer.
You said June. That's 2 months.
Yeah, middle of June.
That's 2.5 months.
No.
Yeah,
they're not going to rush him back.
I don't think they are.
They don't need to.
I was upset. I was just
disagree.
like ran upset. You want your best athletes. You want all your talent on your roster as much as possible. And then a broken foot, 6 to 8 weeks hurts. But I think low key, the front half is probably grinning and fist pumping about it. In a cruel,
service
mean
year.
way. Yep, service
Evan's
year.
going to tell us.
There are new rules like Torkelson. Well, he's on the opening roster, so it doesn't really matter. But now, like, if he still made the top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting, I don't think he will. I think there's a lot of rookies in the American League that are going to take it over him. But now we'll have him for an extra year of player control. I think they're going to push it back like middle to end of June. He's not going to get back because I can see him coming back and then have a rehab starts in the minor leagues and like delay it. Unless there's pressure from Hinch or there's pressure from somebody else, the front office probably would delay it as much as possible.
It just sucks, dude, because like, and them also wanting to do, if they do that, which I don't blame them, but it just kind of signals, okay, fans, for those of you that are like, oh my God, this team's ready to make a push. Like, no, they're still waiting. They're still loading up. They're still going to acquire more names. Like, if Raleigh was set to go from the start of the year, I mean, the guy was hitting, I know it's just spring training, but we know he lit it up last year. He was hitting 921 OPS in spring, hitting 430 batting average in spring training. And I didn't know, like, I didn't see the play. I just got the notification. It was like, oh my God, please be April Fools, because this also happened on April 1st. He was going against Garrett Cole. Great pitcher, we know that. Fouled the ball off the inside of his right foot, broke it, didn't leave the game because adrenaline. He hit a triple in that at bat, legged out a triple on a broken foot, and then got to the dugout and was like, my foot hurts, broke it. Like, this guy is an absolute gamer. He is going to be, assuming things are on track and doesn't get a bunch of injuries, going to be one of the best players we've seen in a long time in Detroit. And it just sucks you don't get it right away with Torkelson there as well. So that really sucks. Now, I don't know if this was before or after the injury, but when it comes to playoffs, the dirty P word, Fangraphs, which is a very big stats website in baseball, they do a percentage chance to make the playoffs for every team. Our percentage chance to make the playoffs is 9.2%. Do you guys agree with that? Disagree? Higher? Lower?
Dude, tell me there's a chance. I think it's higher.
I think it's higher.
You added
Great
another
success.
You added another team to the playoffs. You're coming off of last year's end of the year success, or take away April and May. Hinch definitely wins you 10 games as a manager, and then I think
manager win stats.
In my opinion, I think the lineup is better for Cabrera to have more success. He can get protected more. Bias, flashy guy. Obviously, Torkelson can help. So I think there's a higher percent. I would say like high 20% chance to make it. A lot of things do have to go our way, like perfectly and correct. And then I can still see like the front office being sellers at the deadline. But I think it's definitely a higher chance. Our division stinks. I know Minnesota made some moves to like get better. But I don't think they got that much better. White Sox are leaps and above, and then Cleveland's tanking, and the Royals are kind of a rebuild, but they got young talent. So we could compete for second in the division if everything goes right. I mean, the East is
23.65%. What my brain just spit out there.
Wow.
I'll go not much higher than 9. 9's just so bleak. I'll go like 12 to 15. Feels right. It just the Riley Green news sucks because like I would not be stunned if this team's just like swept by the White Sox. And like, oh god, they're over, and then it's
you
like
think Riley Green was going to be that crucial?
Seeing his name in our opening day lineup or just in the starting lineups, it's just a boost because you don't see Victor Reyes there. You don't see guys there's like, ugh. You see Riley Green, and yes, he might struggle, but he's fast. He's going to steal bases, and he made a great diving play. Like he's an all around like 5-tool guy, and like seeing that name in the lineup being gone from it is just going to really hinder this team for a little bit. And like regression and stuff, like Jonathan Scope hit out of his mind last year. Is he going to keep that up? All these things, like, is there going to be regressions?
You're awfully negative. You sound like Evan.
I'm not negative. I'm just trying to temper expectations. I don't think this team is making the playoffs. What helps is, so there's only 15 teams in a league. 6 of them make it, so not half, obviously, but like closer to half now. I don't know. I think it's going to be one that's like, I'm protecting myself against what I did with the Pistons last year, where I was so gung-ho.
Fair, but I told you that
with the rookies. But I have to remember, Torkelson's a rookie. Riley Green will be a rookie in mid-June or June whenever he comes back. And it's just like, I don't know.
I mean, Evan and I didn't say we think the Tigers are going to make the playoffs. We said like 20% something, 28-something%. So, we're not sitting here saying they're going to win the World Series, but you could be a little more optimistic.
It's more of just like a testament to how terrible this franchise has been in the last 5 years. Where like I'm very excited to watch them, but I still don't think they're going to be. Like I think their ceiling is second in the division, missing the playoffs because I think the AL East is absolutely stacked, and so they might get 3 teams in. Like it's not like we're going to compete with the Blue Jays. Like God, like there's just some absolute mammoth. Like unless Torkelson's Aaron Judge or Pete Alonso is rookie year, like that would be like what you would need to be like, oh my God, we might make the playoffs. Or our pitching staff is just lights out.
I mean, going into July 1st last year, they were 10 games under 500, and they finished 8 games under 500. So they're 2 games above 500 from July on last year. That'll keep you in the playoff race for a long time.
What's they say? You can't win the division in April and May, but you can lose the division in April and May.
If you
go, we just got to tread water until our
9-17 in the first 2 months, like last year.
Yeah, I think it was even worse than that.
It was worse than that. Yeah. Well, we have 14-13 in May.
April was miserable for us.
8-19 in April.
Yeah, but I think our schedule is, brutal to begin the year. Opening series weekends, thank God they're home against both the Sox teams, White Sox, Red Sox.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, you do have to travel to Kansas City. They're probably just as good as you. It's 3-game series against the Yankees back at home. Rockies are nothing. But then you have to travel to the Twins and to the Dodgers.
Oh, my God. We're going to get battered and bruised.
Yeah, so like the first month is not good to the Tigers, and it doesn't.
We needed Riley Green so bad.
Yeah, it doesn't really let up until you get about middle of May. Is when kind of the schedule gets easier. You start playing the Guardians and you start playing the Twins a little bit more. Athletics and Orioles. So May is easier, but that first month or so, it's just a brutal stretch of series, especially on the road.
Positive is I think our bullpen will be solid. They have some injuries they're dealing with right now, but I think they'll be solid, which is something I don't want to get optimistic because bullpen has always cost those good Tigers teams in the past, but I do think we have some arms in the bullpen. So if we can get leads, we should do better at preserving those leads. Listener question here. a comment and a question. I'm a Tigers season ticket holder. Congratulations. Would love to grab a beer with you guys the next time you go to a game. So my first response to that is I'd be down.
Absolutely.
We'll tweet out. We'll tweet out
We just
when
need
we
to
go.
know who you are
Well, so we'll tweet out when we go.
eventually.
And I said, hey, just hit us up then. Just DM, say, hey, I'm also going to that game, or some hand up. Probably, at least for myself, we'll be waiting till it's a little bit warmer weather this year because we went very early last year and it was like freezing. I will wait until it's a little bit nicer. I mean, it was snowing today and opening days Friday, so it's just crazy. His
Really
question
bad
though is,
weather on Friday, it looks like.
how many torque bombs, great phrase, will we see this year?
Oh, Friday's
22.
Oh, God, that feels bad.
He's not
I
just
was
going
right
to come
around
in
there.
and
I
hit
was right
50
around.
bombs. I mean, relax.
I was right around 20 as well.
22 bombs. Oh, gross.
He is a rookie.
It's a rookie,
You are
Grant.
You're not playing in a hitter-friendly park. And, everyone goes through a slump at some point during the season. And just a matter if he can bounce back from it or if his slump, depends on how long his slump is. But I'm right around with Alex. I think around 25. I think the max he could hit is probably 30. Unless he gets off to a hot start in April and May, then obviously all those stats get inflated from there on out.
All right, I did some math. Crunched some numbies for this. So first of all, I started at the peak, the pinnacle. Most home runs in a season by a rookie, which is curious. Who holds these records? In the American League, Aaron Judge hit 52 ding-dongs in 2017.
If Torkelson played in Yankee Stadium, he would also hit 52 home runs. He has to flick his wrist, and it's a home run in right field.
Mark McGwire, shout out him, hit 49 homers in 1987.
Asterisks.
Was you think he was taking steroids that first year?
They
Yes,
were all
Grant.
juicing.
All right. And then most recently, Pete Alonso is the record holder. He hit 53 bombs for the Mets in 2019. And then we go to the NL for some
How are the
reason.
Mets still bad with Pete Alonso?
I don't know, dude. Well, did you see Scherzer and DeGrom both have injuries now?
I didn't see
They have
Scherzer. I saw DeGrom.
They have
saw
the
DeGrom.
worst training staff in the MLB. The training staff for the Dodgers or the Mets is so bad. And now we go to NL. That's why I said Dodgers. Much less. Cody Bellinger in 2017 hit 39. And then shout out this deep cut. Wally Berger for Boston in 1930 hit 38 tots.
Good for Burger. Yeah.
And then
Burger and tots.
the guy that slings the testosterone medicine now, Frank Robinson for Cincinnati, hit 38 in
That's
1956.
Frank
Different
Thomas
I
who
know.
slings the
I know.
testosterone medicine.
I'm joking. But yeah, Frank Thomas. Now, let's look at our own team. So that's the peak, all right? Robbie Grossman alone.
So you're
hit
about
20
to say Torque's going to hit 40 bombs.
No, you be quiet and let me get through this. It's a lot of math.
It is a
Robbie
lot.
Grossman led the Tigers with 23 home runs last year. Robbie Grossman hit 23. Okay? Now, Torkelson last year played 121 games throughout the minor leagues. They range from single A to triple A. He hit 30 bombs last year in 121 games. Now, he spent 40 games in triple A, the closest to the major leagues you can get. He hit 11 home runs in those 40 games. Pretty good. Let's say he plays 130 to 150 games, which is probably what he'll play. Everyday first baseman. I have the range of bad 27, peak-ish 40 Torkelson bombs with a net of 33 torque bombs this year. That's what I came up with. So a little bit more bullish than you guys.
Wow, I
Robbie
cannot
Grossman
wait to
hit-
catch a Torkelson home run when we're at the game. It's going to be electric.
Bobby Grossman hit 23 last year. Come on, Torkelson's going to mash.
You just
Dude,
said 5 minutes ago that you're trying to temper your rookie expectations. And here you are just telling us that Torque's going to hit 40 bombs.
No, yeah, I told you they would. That's not going to make us good. I said he'd have to go Aaron Judge mode for us to flirt with the playoffs. Like he had to be hitting 50.
If he hit 40 home runs, I would say that that's a pretty, really, really, really good rookie season.
Yeah, no, 100%. But he also is a 1-1 draft pick. So like, and if you go back to Arizona State, he was hitting a home run. Like he was hitting a home run per game in college. It was you look at he played like 50 games, he had like 50 bombs.
40.
Like, this guy just mashes baseballs.
The one he hit in spring training the other day went 800 feet. Unconfirmed.
The last thing I want to say is another kind of not nerdy thing, but thing that I hope sticks out to us. Because I think when you write my theme going into this year is like, as Javi Baez goes, I feel like this team will go because he was the big splash, and he did hit a decent amount of home runs last year, but he also had the most strikeouts in his career. And Comerica is not the most friendly hitter ballpark, so a lot of those home runs could turn into pop flies or long doubles. But on the defensive side of the ball, with Scope back to second base, and Javi Baez, a multi-gold glove winner at shortstop, I think our double play rate, which was like terrible last year, should be much better. And I like to think our defense up the middle is going to get back to the like closer to the Kinsler and Jose Iglesias days when double plays were just automatic. Ground ball up the middle, automatic double play. I'm hoping we get to that. We're not going to watch DJ Short at shortstop this year. No offense to DJ Short, but like I just don't need to see that. Or like Willie Castro with his double-digit errors last year. Get that out of my face. Like that guy just sucks so bad. I'm not going to watch them putz around and throw balls in the left field. We're going to have Javi Baez and Scope, which Scope is confusing to me. I know he lost a bunch of weight. I never pictured him as a second baseman, but I guess he lost 15 pounds. He's kind of on that Hogard body. But,
hey, whoa, dude! Don't chop my guy like that.
But apparently he's a good fielder, so hopefully double plays are turning and burning up the middle for the Tigers this year. I'm excited though.
I'm
Looking
super
forward
excited.
to it.
Very excited. So excited. So jazzed. Another thing I'm excited for, the Masters.
The Masters.
This is where the part of the podcast you play the little intro, the
Yeah, and
little
then-
piano.
And then whoever the Illuminati that work at Augusta come and kill me in my sleep for copywriting their music.
We'll just have Evan talk over it, and then it'll be like our own track.
Do do do. I don't even know how to hum it. It's so soft and
So
petite.
elegant.
So
Georgia. Just play that
Yeah.
song.
we can just go that way. We'll start off with a About Us listener question. With the Masters this week, do you guys golf a lot? And has anyone had a hole in one?
Oh yeah, we golf a lot. I mean, I'm golfing on Sunday and Monday. Hitting the range on Saturday. Got to prep. I'm actually going to win a golf scramble on Sunday. So
You're playing
Like
in
it's
a
base-
scramble Sunday.
yeah, I am playing in a scramble on Sunday.
Where?
Where? Grand Valley.
That's why you're going to Grand Valley to play in a golf tournament?
Yeah. I'm gonna booze it up all weekend and then go hit it up in the golf scramble.
Oh, you're going to be throwing up during that.
No, I'm not. It's at 1:00. It's not early morning, so we're okay.
It's good. It's important. Yes.
Sounds fun.
Well, I'd say Evan and I golf a lot, and Grant, you can answer yourself. I wouldn't say you golf a lot.
3 summer months. It's about 12 weekends. I'd say about 8
3
to 10 times a year.
I feel like that feels high.
Does it?
Yeah, that feels high.
No,
I'd say
Well,
6.
I guess I'm coming off like pandemic summers where I could go more, but I don't know.
I'd say 6.
8 to 10.
You got a
Alright,
girlfriend now. It's gonna drop a little too. Yeah,
6, right?
that takes out some time.
Yeah, but she golfs, so you could take it with you.
But I also went to the. I went to the range.
Do you
more
want
than
to,
I ever
though,
have
Evan?
last year? I've went to the range more than I ever have last year.
True.
So you factor that in. Played my best golf last year. I broke 100. Asterisk.
All right. So I'll say 6 to 8.
And yes, Alex has a hole in one.
Yeah, I
No,
do.
Desert
do not.
Valley.
I've never even came close.
I do have a hole in one. Thank you very much.
Not a big deal.
Wasn't a big
I do
deal.
not.
Just was in the paper. I'm a local hero.
Come see Harold.
No, it was
Yeah.
in the Telegram.
Oh, I
Oh,
was gonna say,
even better.
I was going
Big
to say, I bet
time.
you enjoyed talking to Mickey Alvarado.
I didn't talk to anyone. They just put it in there.
Well, how did they know?
I think the golf course tells them when you get a hole in one.
Yeah.
Got it. Makes sense.
Got a little trophy.
All right, so the Masters, a lot of storylines. If you want like more in-depth ones, there's other golf podcasts out there for that, obviously. Are you guys rooting for Tiger Woods if he's game time decision? Are you guys rooting for him if he suits up?
You two don't like him, so you two will not. And I do like him, so I will root for him.
I've gotten to more like fascinated by him, but I do get annoyed at how
It's
things
good
in
for
his
the
life.
sport for him to play well.
Agreed with that. I get annoyed by how things are handled. Like he got in a almost near death car crash that no one wants to talk about, and he just doesn't have to talk about it, and the cops like didn't test him for drugs and alcohol because he's Tiger Woods, which I get. That's the cost of fame. I just sometimes get I just kind of get, and like everyone just doesn't say what really happened, and it's just kind of annoying how all that stuff is handled.
They came out with what happened.
Yeah, they did.
He was driving to a shoot. He was driving to a shoot for like a YouTube video.
Yeah, but like, why was he going that fast, and why did he swerve off the road, Alex? Like the real question.
He took a corner too fast and crashed because he thought he's invincible and could drive really fast. I mean, it doesn't always have to be drugs or alcohol, Grant.
Well, if you saw his interview on TV where he was stumbling over his words the day before. I mean, like things are just lining up in his life. And he had gotten pulled over for a DUI earlier in his life. There's body cam footage of that. It's like people just kind of like, oh yeah, Tiger, I love you so much. It's like,
he's got a lot of haters.
That's why. He's a messed up guy. I did a full report on him in college once about the ups and downs of his life and presented it to a class. It was it divided the room. There was like girls were like, no, he's a scumbag. He cheated on his wife, and there was dudes like, it's Tiger.
He's addicted to sex, like Jim says.
And he wants to be in the Navy SEALs so bad. It's kind of a weird fetish.
He did.
Anyways,
I don't know if he still does. But.
Evan's not rooting for him. Alex, you are pulling for him if he plays?
Yes, I am. It's good for the sport.
I'm not going to root for him to win.
He's not my number one guy, if that matters.
I'm definitely going to be curious. I'm going to be watching his shots and seeing how he does. Now, this is more for Alex because he gets on me for a use of a word. Would Tiger Woods winning this Masters be unbelievable? Would that be fair to say?
Well, I hate that term to begin with because unbelievable to me means like you never, ever could imagine that happening. Now, you throw it around.
I would say yes, it's unbelievable.
No, I don't think it'd be unbelievable.
Somebody that almost got their legs amputated because he got into a car accident and hasn't played competitive golf besides with his son is going to win the biggest major of all time.
So his last win coming off 6 back surgeries, that's no different?
Alex, back surgeries is different from almost getting your leg amputated.
Jaws of life. Remember those texts Evan said? Remember Evan's text to the group? Which is like Tiger Woods, Jaws of life. And we're just like, what?
Evan gave no context, just Tiger Woods, Jaws of life.
Schefter bomb from the clouds.
I wouldn't think it's unbelievable. It'd be very surprising, not unbelievable.
Well, right now, you can say that, but if I had talked to you after 2019 and said, hey, he just won this, let me sit you down, Alex. He's going to get in a car crash a year from now and nearly die, and he's going to come back and win this tournament again, and it's his first appearance since. You'd be like, I don't believe you. That's unbelievable. Like, so I think if you looked at it from years ago, this would be unbelievable what's happening if it does happen. But I guess now you're like, okay, he looks good. The Masters is throwing out puff piece trailers of how good he looks walking the grounds. Like now it's like, all right,
it's unlikely he's actually going to win. So it's not like, I don't think we need to worry about it.
I don't know, dude. I
plus
think
5,000.
I know that's what we'll get to that. I think what everyone says, this guy does not play in tournaments he doesn't think he can win. So like he's not going there to make the cut. Like he's going, a freak. That is his golf course. Like that is when I think someone who owns something, Tiger Woods owns Augusta National. So
yeah, that's why all of the reasons you just gave is why I don't think it'll be unbelievable.
Right, but if I had told you like 2 years ago this would happen, you'd say, I don't believe you. That's unbelievable.
Well, I'd more so be unbelievable about the car crash and the jaws of life and all that than the golf.
Well, if you look at his drug and alcohol history, it might not be
okay.
All right. We're going to just cookie cutter and protect this man like we live in North Korea.
He's taking plenty of hate.
People love comeback stories. And he's already given us one. This guy just is addicted to he's addicted to sex and he's addicted to comeback stories. He loves it.
I don't care who you are. The last time he won, you got chills watching that.
Yeah, I also bet on him. Made some nice. I also bet on like everyone in the field, but my biggest bet was on Tiger Woods to win it. It was electric. All right, so you guys know how this works. A little refresher. We give our favorite to win, and we give our long shot, and it's always a debate what constitutes a long shot. Based on the odds.
Evan takes favorites as his long shot.
Don't take favorites.
You do.
We did the odds. It's based off of the odds on the sportsbook that I look at.
You gave someone out that was like plus 500.
No, there's nobody ever in a golf tournament that's plus 500.
You said Colin Morikawa was your,
and he was like plus 4,500 to win that tournament, and you're like, no, dude, that doesn't count.
He's not on the same level as Joaquin Neiman.
All right, Alex, since you had some bones to pick with it. It's a new golf season. What is our cutoff when it comes to what a long shot is, money line odds wise?
Anyone above plus 4,500.
What about? Can we just go 4,000? I feel like that's a
No,
easier
because
cutoff.
I see guys in the 4,000s that are reasonable. That's why we're going past.
The
that.
only person I see on the book I'm looking at is Daniel Berger,
Yeah, he's
and I
the
would say
only
Daniel
person plus
Daniel Berger
Except
is a
the
long
guy
shot.
that won last year.
He's plus 3,500.
3,500.
Mine is 4,000. I should click a new
Off.
website.
Which one are you on?
Some
I'm on
offshore account.
CBS Sports 1 hour ago.
What? Go to a sports book, you
Go to a live
cop.
sports book.
You cop. What are you? A narc?
I can't go to sports books. I don't
Yes, you can.
bet.
Why? Because you're addicted.
Yeah.
You don't,
Correct.
Alex. You don't have to. You don't have to log.
I don't
want
wanna
to
end up logging in.
You're an idiot.
You don't have
I'm
to
logged
log
in.
in.
I
You
just
still
placed
look.
35 bets. All right, fine. I'm looking
Let's
at
go.
it again.
Let's go off DraftKings. That's what Evan's looking at. I'm guessing because we have the same odds.
Yeah,
Let's go. 4,000 is the line based on what I'm
No,
looking at.
above 4,000.
Yeah. So 4,000 or higher.
No. Above.
Do you want?
4,000.
You want
nobody's
Daniel
gonna-
Berger?
You're gonna pick Daniel Berger.
Tony Finau? Come on.
He's plus 6,500.
What are you talking
What?
about, Alex?
I'm on DraftKings now. Is this not good enough for you?
No. Yeah. What do you mean?
Jesus
Outright
Christ.
Tony Finau is 6,500.
Outright winner, Tony Finau, plus 4,000.
6,500. No.
winner? No.
What? I'm looking at DraftKings right now. The
No, you're like-
Masters, odds, tournament lines, winner.
Yep.
I'm on it. That's
What's
what
the
it
top
said.
of your list? Oh wait, well, just bring me your list. What does it say at
All
the
right.
top?
It says the Open now. I don't know why.
Oh my God, you were on the open odds.
But
You're
it says
a
the
joke.
Masters, and then below it says the Open. I don't.
Alex, do it on your phone,
Make
bro.
sure
Do it
you're
on your
on
phone.
the Masters
Pull up your phone.
2020.
Dude, this man doesn't know.
God damn, dude.
You would think he is Borat from Kazakhstan. Hasn't used the internet ever.
Sorry, this
Oh,
is poor
shit.
podcasting, Alex.
Now I'm logged in. Here we go.
Now he has bets on his desktop and his phone.
Don't waste all your money on.
Oh, opt in
Blackjack,
for
Alex.
blackjack. Oh my god.
I mean, there's some good odds boosts on DraftKings
All right.
for the Masters.
Fine.
So.
4,000 and above.
Okay, who would like to go first with their favorite?
Me. I'm gonna go with Dustin Johnson.
Oh, Paulina.
The reason?
Bonk.
Crushes the golf ball. Maybe he can make it a par
Crushes.
67 like Bryson DeChambeau says it is. Because he's an idiot, moron, loser. Whoa. Did not mean to say
Dude, don't talk
that.
about my long shot like that. I'm just kidding.
But I just really like DJ's game. Good player.
Nice. And he was not most recent winner, but recent winner after that.
COVID
Yeah,
2020.
They played
COVID
two.
year.
They played 2 in 1 year, so he technically, yeah.
The one,
like,
it was like in November.
November.
He won. Yeah.
yeah, the fall one.
Yep. Done it before. Can do it again.
Mine's a favorite. There's no doubt, but not a name you typically expect. I'm going with Cameron Smith plus 1,400 odds. He won the Players, so he's hot. He's won a big tournament already this year. You might think, well, he won't do it again, but there's also a glory play of I just want to see that mullet, that mustache in the green jacket as a theme to my picks. I just think that guy's going to look good in it. He's Australian, so you see a lot of foreign guys at the top of the leaderboard, I feel like, in the Masters. That's just thinking out loud here. And then you go with this. In his last 5 appearances, he's played very well at the Masters. He has a T10, a tied for second just 2 years ago, and a T5. So this guy is around the top of the leaderboard in the Masters. If you don't want to go him to win, maybe go top 10 finish and get a little plus action that way. Because the best thing about golf betting is like everything's plus odds because golf tournaments are such a crapshoot. It's kind of like a NASCAR race. So I'm going with Cameron Smith for my favorite. To Evan's favorite.
My favorite, there's a lot of guys I like, but I'm going to go with somebody that's consistent, like Grant's guy, had success at the Masters. I'm going to pick Jordan Spieth.
Oh, love that pick. Love
He
that
has-
pick.
Choke job on an amen corner. Never
yeah,
forget.
he does.
My favorite golfer.
It's success there, so I'm going to go with him. He's not he's not a hot golfer right now, but I think being somebody successful at the Masters goes a long ways.
Did you see him miss those 2-footers last week?
Every golfer's one of us, so
Felt good.
One of us. One of us. Long shot, we'll go back to Alex to stay in order. But if you pick mine, I'm killing you.
If you pick mine, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Vengeance.
You guys can go first. I'm between two guys.
Max Homa. Where are my homosexuals at? As they say on PMT, the homosexuals.
Popular, trendy pick. He's got to make the
Trendy
cut.
pick?
Just because he's popular. Just because he's popular.
Plus 8,000, so he definitely counts. He's doubled up of what our cutoff was. Most notably, he beat the 4-play scramble, one of the only pro golfers to do that. And you make it through that meat grinder against Riggs, Lurch, Trent, Frankie out there. You can probably win an Augusta National. And he parties with Mike, formerly known as Mike Stud. I just love the guy. This is just a Grant likes this guy. And also, he's been playing good golf. Like, let's not forget that. He has been playing good golf. He's got a sweet mustache as well. Handsome guy. He looked great in a green jacket. Max Homa.
Alex, you ready or are you going to go?
Maybe just take him ready. Like top 20. Let's not get crazy.
Let me see what his odds are. So plus 5,500. I'm going with Adam Scott. Done it before. 3 top 10s this year. Playing decent golf. So, yeah, I like Adam Scott.
Is he still allowed to use that long putter, or do they ban that?
He can. You just can't anchor it. Can't like touch it to your body.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't touch it to his body.
No friction against the belly.
So yeah, Adam Scott.
I'm gonna go with Paul Casey, popular pick for Evan from last year. Played well in some majors last year. He's plus 6,000.
Oh wow.
He has some decent success at the Masters. 2018 tied for 15th, 2017 6th, 2016 he was tied for 4th. So he has some success there. I just think somebody's got to eventually win their first major at the Masters, so might as well be him.
No love for Hideki Matsuyama.
I feel like it's pretty hard to repeat unless you're Tiger Woods, or I don't know. It's tough to do. There's 2 guys I would like to give love to, that I think are going to be very good in this tournament that we couldn't say just because we ran out of names. Xander Schauffele is always in the mix in this tournament. The guy is always near the top 5, and also
consistent good player.
And I think this guy would be slept on the next one because of his injury. I think Brooks Koepka is going to be back with a vengeance, healthy at the Masters. I could see a Brooks Koepka revival swing here. I think those 2 will be in the mix at some point in this tournament, which isn't saying a lot because they're great golfers, but I do think those guys should be mentioned if you're looking at the gambling board.
2 guys that I wanted to pick, I just picked Spieth instead. So I'm a huge Xander Schauffele fan, just like his game. So
good.
Also, shout out James Pyatt making his Masters debut.
Go green, baby.
The Michigan State U.S. Amateur Champion will be in the field.
Be huge if he wears some. Gotta wear the Michigan State gear, right?
I believe he is. I believe he is wearing Michigan State gear.
Michigan State's golf coach is his caddy. He got an exemption for the Masters. Usually, previously, all coaches weren't allowed to caddy at the Masters for their athlete. But he finally got it approved and got it exempt. So his coach will be caddying for him.
Nice. Now that's the right thing to do. We also have 2 quick listener questions or comments on this one. This goes into the first one here from BV. Benny V, a long supporter of the podcast, has his own group chat with the boys now for his personal questions.
Sweet picture.
Bryson DeChambeau. We talked about him earlier off the rip. Ben says Bryson had a stupid comment, a little opinion there, Ben, but I agree with you, of calling Augusta a par 67. However, he has never placed inside the top 20 there. Love him or hate him, he's still a great golfer. He's currently at plus 5,500 to win the Masters. Do you believe this is good value or throwing money away? Ben V.
All right.
He also, on the record, has Billy Horschel as his underdog home run play plus 8,000.
Lotto play was the actual words.
So Billy Horschel or Max Homa, choose your character, plus 8,000. Alex, you were eager.
Yeah, I just don't like Bryson at all. I don't like how he plays golf. I don't like how he carries himself.
He said love or hate him.
So I'm in the hate category, and at plus 5,500, if you want to throw away money, yeah, go ahead. That's what I think. I think he'd be throwing away money. He's not making the cut.
I do agree with Alex. I kind of cringed when he told me that you thought I was going to miss a cut earlier because I was like, I'm saving that bomb for the podcast. I do think he also will miss the cut. Also, he did this really
I
cringy
watched it.
video
It's
with
disgusting.
Dude Perfect on the golf course, and you go and disrespect Augusta like that. Like, his game worked at the U.S. Open because the rough is so bad and you don't need as much touch because you just bomb it and then get on the green. Like, that doesn't work at Augusta. You got to be like finesse. It's not like some long bomb course that you can just hit over everything. And he plays terribly there and he melts.
Evan's in the love crowd, so
I
looking
don't
forward
love
to
him,
this.
but I used to absolutely hate him. But I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I think he will make the cut, but I don't see him winning because you need a little more finesse. So I think that's where he's missing the game wise. But he can't cut corners with his driving, as long as he's not spraying it. I mean, 5,500, I think it's still good value to sprinkle a little bit on it. I'm not saying throw everything on it, but hey.
Put 2 McDoubles on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you're willing to lose.
Thanks, Alex. Great advice.
Great advice.
And then last one for you two, really, because I am not good with any help here. How do you fix a slice?
There's a lot of things that go into that.
Okay, well, give us like a nice little tip.
Evan, what would you say first?
What would I say first? I did have a
Trying to get the most
really bad.
basic thing of all time. And you went to a nice draw. So what did you do?
I did,
different?
yes. I would say my hand placement on my club. I adjusted my hands.
I was going to say grip is probably the most important.
So your
How'd you grip that shaft?
Get it out of your palms. Your lead hand. So I'm guessing you're right-handed. I don't know, but your lead hand. So your left hand, get it out of your palm of your hand, or in like the knuckle part, your base of your fingers. Overdo your top hand. So your right hand, overdo it. See more knuckles, and then really mentally for me, I always overemphasize like tucking my elbow, and then definitely like overcome my hands to where like I definitely gonna either if I hit it super bad, I'm gonna hook it. And if I get lazy, then obviously there's gonna be a slice there. But more times than not, it's gonna be at least somewhat of a draw, or if not, it'll go straight. So I would say hand grip is number one.
Yeah, grip I think is most important.
I do have a TikTok tip. We all know those always work. I saw it the other day. It just made me think of it while you were talking there. And I will be trying this out on the range because it was so easy that my brain was like, yes, this is what I need. You put a golf tee in your glove on your lead hand. And they said when you take it back in your swing, you just want to make sure you stick it like here by your wrist. You stick it into the end of the glove. Yeah, on the outside though. On the outside. No, not on the inner, on the outer. Yeah, on this side. So when you go back, you just want to feel like it's not digging into your skin. And if it's digging into your skin, it means you're too over the top. So it's not digging, you'll feel it, that it's flatter, and that'll keep you on a smooth, flat swing path as opposed to getting up and over to slice. So I will be trying that. The comment said, this is eye-opening, this changed my swing.
I got my clubs right here. We could try it right now. I mean, I could just set off and put one through the window if we really wanted to, if it works.
Evan breaks his windows like, wow, did you see that didn't slice at all? But yeah, I'm just trying to visualize it. I mean, you have a tee in your glove, and you take it back, and you just don't want to feel like it's digging into that hand. And I will be trying that. I can promise you that. But if Alex, you have any like real tips?
Hand placement, like Evan said, I would agree. Finishing through the ball. Don't get lazy on the bottom. And then I think
whoa. It's kind of hard sometimes to not get lazy on the bottom.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want the club or anybody else just to do the work. But, so we have to finish no matter what.
Anyways, my number one golf tip would be don't just take advice from anybody about golf. Don't listen to me and Joe Schmo and everyone else telling you what to do.
Even Tiger Woods.
That's different, Grant. That's different.
Tell Jack Nicklaus to
a lot of golf is just figuring it out on your own and what works best for you.
Yeah, hit the range. That's what it helped me. I hit the range and I just mess around with it until I found something that was comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And now look at us. None of us are lazy on the bottom.
I really didn't think you guys would find a way to make that as dirty as it was.
Somehow we're better on the bottom. We get more done.
Wow. Was that?
And
Was that inappropriate?
Ultimately, if you can't fix your slice, just play that slice.
Yeah, and never try to fix on the course. Like if you're already playing and you're slicing everything, you're not going to start hitting a draw. So just play it. Unless you're Evan who thinks he could fix it.
Oh, I can fix it on the course.
I try to fix all the time on the course.
Never
I just start
works.
playing,
Never
or you
works.
just play only a 7-iron. That also is a move.
Oh,
I tell myself I'm going to do that, and I'm just stubborn and just.
I'm way too good for that. That's what I tell myself.
All right. Those will probably get us more off the rails, but just a couple life questions, miscellaneous ones, non-sports. Everyone relax. Take the load off. If you were on the show naked and afraid, what one item would you bring with you? Cannot be clothes. Well, duh. It's naked and afraid. You can't be bringing clothes in.
Two things come to mind here, but I'll go with one of them because you guys might need the other thing. I'm going to get a 100-pack of matches.
Dude, do you even watch survival shows, Alex? Come on.
I need fire, Evan, and I don't want to sit there.
Yeah, that's why
rubbing
I'm bringing a
sticks
flint
together.
stone or flint knock. Like, just instant. You just scrape this a couple times. It's gonna get your sparks. It's better than
All right,
matches.
that's a good survivor poll. I love when they get those in the little rewards challenges.
Yes.
Is there anything to like a Costco jug of trail mix?
That would be super dumb. That would be the dumbest. You made fun of my thing, Evan. Fire, and Grant says he's gonna bring some trail mix.
Just some like comfort food before you inevitably die or get kicked off this show.
I wouldn't die.
Okay, Batman.
I wouldn't. Would not die.
Oh, I wouldn't die.
I'd have fire.
What about a pistol?
Not a bad idea, I
Dude,
guess.
if you're on the show naked and afraid, you're not deserted on an island. You're on a show.
I've never seen
You
it.
don't need a pistol.
There's camera crews following you around.
Daddy
you say
needs
naked.
scat.
You say naked and afraid. My mind goes to Hunger Games.
Seems like it.
Dude, it's
Well,
on
you also-
TV, dude. What are you
What
gonna
about
do,
blanket?
shoot people?
In case you're shy and you want to cover up. What about blanket?
Yeah, you would be terrible on these shows. That's what I've learned.
I think we need to sign him up for it.
Yeah. We're going to make you a tape based on that.
I can't think of a vape. This is you're fiending.
30 rack of bush lights, all I need.
We know why it's taking a vape. Why it's going to take a vape.
Hey, calling him out.
I
was
a
gonna say
cell
a
phone with a
knife.
hotspot.
That's the other option.
Cell service.
A cell phone with a hotspot so you can keep watching TikToks while you're out there bored.
Let's move on to the next question.
All right. This one I don't have an answer for really, but I'm curious if you guys do. The weirdest smell you've ever smelled?
Weirdest? It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, not worst.
Like, how do I describe a weird?
I would say the weirdest smell I've ever smelled was rotten potatoes. It was a weird smell. You picture you never get rotten potatoes, but it happened. It happened once.
imagine it. I cannot imagine it.
It happened once in the Cadmus household, and it was disgusting and a very rotten, weird smell. So
I mean, if we're gonna be real, I mean, it smells pretty weird.
it smells like chlorine. It's chlorine, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Okay,
This is not what
dude. What is wrong with you? One Coors
It's just-
Light?
It's just not gonna. It's not gonna. It doesn't smell what you think it would smell like.
It
when you
smells like
first smell
chlorine.
it.
Are you leaving that? That's staying on this podcast?
Well, I'm gonna bleep out probably the word like, and then they can guess what it is from there with Evan's chlorine comment. The other one though, like this is so dumb, but when I think about smells that like shook me when I was a kid, probably more because I was a kid and didn't know. We have a big pine tree in our yard, and I touched a bunch of like the sticks and the pine cones,
Sap?
and like you can't get the smell of sap off your fingers for like days. So maybe more like just the overwhelming smell of sap was like pretty gross and like jarring to smell. I don't know. That's all I can come up with.
Mine's not like gross. Just the smell that like I can smell at any time. Like there's a smell I won't forget. It's just the weird smell of like how like a doctor's office smells. I don't know how to describe it. But you're in like a like the room. There's like this weird sense of smell that's like all like super sanitized. I don't know how to describe it.
The smell of impending bad news.
It's just like
Gosh.
super sanitized plastic smell of a doctor's
Interesting.
office.
I kind of know what you're saying, but
Yeah, I would have to be there to tell you in the moment. But it's a very weird smell. We can like taste it.
I feel like we'll have in the off season this summer we could do like a snake draft of smells.
I
Like one
smelled
good,
some
one
bad
terrible.
poops from Grant and Evan.
Okay.
so-
See, this is not about bad smells. It's about weirdest smells. That's
Well,
not weird. That's
what came out
natural.
of Evan's butt once was one of the weirdest
Oh my
words.
God, dude.
We're all
said I
human.
threw-
We all do it.
Yeah.
Kid the on Evan's floor. That was pretty gross.
Next one is cereal a soup?
Evan?
No. This is so. Cereal is
I
not a
agree.
soup. Pop Tarts are not ravioli. So cereal is not a soup because for it to be a soup, it has to contain hot water or hot broth. And I don't know about you, but last time I've had cereal, I'm not doing anything hot with it. It's
What about
usually
cream
cold
of
milk.
wheat?
That would be considered as like cream of wheat by itself,
soup.
or like a oatmeal.
What is oatmeal? Hot water and oats.
Yeah, so it's oatmeal. It's its own
So
definition.
it's soup.
Different texture.
No.
Soup.
Cereal is
It's
cereal.
hot.
Soup is soup. That's my
Soup is hot, and I know people try to say like gazpacho is a cold soup. It's not soup.
Oh,
Whatever gazpacho is, gazpacho is its own thing.
Great success.
Soup is hot. All right, this next one. This one's tough.
I wrote this one in. It's about Evan.
You would be the one to say just in person, so I don't think you would
Now,
say
guys,
that here.
I'm gonna swear because they wrote about swearing in it, so we don't swear a lot on this show.
You're
but
leaving this word in. You have to.
My buddy always smells like shit. Should I tell him or let it go?
You should tell him if you're
Tell
really
him.
friends, because that's
If you are
gross.
friends and close with them, you should tell them.
How would you guys phrase it? How would you sit him down?
It depends
How
on
would
the
you do it?
smell. Is this like a BO where you can just put some deodorant on, take a shower, something like that? Or do they
No,
smell
let's
like
just say it smells
physical
like
dump?
poop.
Then they
Dump.
need to like wipe their ass or something. Yeah, I would tell them right away. I'd be like, dude, you smell terrible. And they'd probably be like, no, I don't, dude. And I'd be like, no, you actually do. I would just tell them. You're friends.
Yes. Just tell them
I tell you
them
guys when you
one-on-one.
smell like shit.
Tell them one-on-one. Do not bring somebody else in it, like Alex usually tends to do.
Oh, come on.
Alex is a big group setting, like roast you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then you'd be like,
stop. Grant's
well,
worse.
Well, Evan said that you also do smell bad, so no, don't bring me into this just because we
If
talked
you're in
about
a group
it.
of all friends and everyone's friends, which is what the situation
Don't bring
Evans are
anybody else
describing,
into it.
Yeah,
You
but there's
say,
different levels.
hey man, we all think you smell like shit.
Don't bring
you probably
other
all do.
people in. One
No,
on
it's like
one.
we're
Just kidding. Just tell them. Just tell them. Just be
Like, hey,
you
buddy.
smell bad. There's no good way
Yeah,
to tell you
'cause,
this.
like,
You smell
I
bad.
need you to improve.
Don't do
your
it in a
hygiene.
group. Yeah.
Wipe your ass some more, buddy.
Take a shower.
Try
Use
some
the
dude
dude
wipes. Hashtag not an
Yeah.
ad, but dude wipes are life changing.
All right. Our last one is gym related.
It's a
This
weird
person
question.
asks, what is your guys' number one motive for going to the gym? They list some options for us: overall health, a sense of accomplishment, looks, it's a habit, etc.
I would say all of the above. Honestly,
Cop out, Gillen.
definitely good for your health. I feel accomplished when I go to the gym. Definitely want to look better, and it's a good habit to be in. Yeah, I'm all in on all of them.
I would say looks. I would say for you, I would answer looks because you just sit in the mirror and like look at yourself a lot
stop,
when you get back
Grant.
from the gym.
Now,
Just like-
they're asking if not that it's a good habit. Yes, obviously going to the gym is a good habit, but is it for you now just a habit that you just don't even think about? You're just going to go.
Yes, it is a habit now.
Definitely not for me. I definitely have to think about it and be like,
And I do
Grant,
not sit in the
piece-
mirror every day. I don't know why. Grant
piece of
said
poo.
Oh, I've seen
Whoa,
them take mirror
someone's
selfies from the
protesting
gym.
too much.
that. But yeah, because
Um,
that was ridiculous.
I would say health, number one reason for me. I don't really care about the accomplishment or looks. I mean, you can't get any worse already.
Jeez, Evan.
But I'm also in the field of health and healthy promotion, and I'm helping others. So I kind of threw myself into it. Life choice.
Is it a habit
profession
for you?
choice. I'm in spurts where it's a habit for me for like 2 months, and then like if something else bigger, homework, other things get in the way, I kind of tend to slack off a couple of days here and there. I
Are you
don't say it
going
is a habit.
to join a gym this summer?
If I have free access to a gym, I don't think I will be joining.
All
a gym.
right. Oops, teaser.
Teaser.
I would say, I guess related to the health thing, I don't think about them on a daily basis, but I do think like, when you're older, you want to be able to like move around with your kids and grandkids. So you don't want to just like kind of become huge and break down. So you're not able to do that. There's also like basic survival things from it. Like I'm not good at fighting. I've never been in a fight, but if I was getting one, I don't want to be just overmatched. Like I'm just going to get flicked like
It's a weird
like
motivation.
Gumby. But the biggest one I would say is those were just like deep ones or more obscure ones I don't think about. The biggest one I would say is more like mental, because if I don't go, I feel worse about myself, and then I'm like to other people. Like I'll be more irritable. I'll snap. Like when you go to the gym, you get a nice workout in, you're sweaty, you get back. It just feels like after going through that, other things that happen to you don't seem as bad, and you're like, oh, you're just kind of like more relaxed and laugh it off. Like if I don't go, I get very testy. Like, oh, I haven't released any aggression or energy. So I'd say that's more of a reason than like any of the ones that were listed.
Yeah, I would say I like to go to the gym to blow off stress. That's a good way to do it instead of freaking out and yelling at people. Still do that anyways, but whatever.
All right. Well, those are the life questions. Some good ones. Good questions throughout. That is the show. National Championship game coming up. Very excited for it. At Shot of MS everywhere. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. How to listen, Apple Podcasts. I got a burp. I swallowed it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe, follow it depending on the platform. Share it with a friend. That's all we ask. It's for free. This whole thing's for free. We're not making any money. We're shouting out restaurants left and right, shouting out things left and right, not getting any ads from it. Maybe one day. But right now, all we ask of you is to just follow it, leave a review, share it with someone, and then continue to submit questions because it helps the show move along a lot better. And we think of things that we think of new things from your guys' ideas. So that is all. Cheers to episode 66.
Cheers.
And to damn.
Cheers to opening day. And Casey Mize won a
Opening day.
7-inning, 8 strikeout, no runs Saturday game.
To the first torque bomb of the year on Friday.
Juicy.
On pace for one. I'm going to tweet out. You bet. If he hits a home run, I'm tweeting out. Spencer Torkelson is on pace for 162 home runs.
Fair. Cheers
It'll
to
do. People will like that.
to a top 5 sporting event in the world, the Masters.
Wow.
Georgia!
Georgia!